What's going on, beautiful people of YouTube? It's Renebean. Welcome to another live episode, and this is going to be a beautiful one right here. It was a fantastic day today. 70-degree weather, yard sales everywhere, and finds almost all day. It was excellent. So you'll definitely see some really cool pickups here today. I will say, if you haven't already, check out the Discord server I started up. It's insane how many people we have there now, how many knowledgeable people. If you're having questions regarding selling on eBay, or if you needed help identifying some, or if you just want to show off your game room pictures or the pickups that you get, it's a great place to do it. Plus, you can reach out to me there. I'll leave a link to it in the description, as well as a pinned comment, most likely. Highly recommend you check it out. It's free, doesn't cost anything. It's just a big collective of people who have the same interests. So anyways, without further ado, guys, I'm very excited to show you this episode. I had such good luck, as you're going to see. So sit back and relax. Let's shekel up. Alright, everybody, welcome to another episode, and of course, let me know down in the comments some of the things that you found this week. I always love hearing about all the different finds that you guys are getting out there. So anyways, we're going to start off this first pickup here at a yard sale. I believe all of them are going to be yard sales. The flea market, while it was decent weather this morning, it just didn't have a great turnout. But I'm sure that's going to change as the season gets a little bit more further in. So anyways, at this yard sale, when I pulled up, there was nothing but antiques. And what was really odd is I can almost swear that I've been here last year. And I want to say that I even asked the same question. If you don't know what that question is, it's the classic, do you happen to have any video games or consoles? And I guess for whatever reason, she decided that she did this time. And as you can see, she brought out a GameCube. It has a crazy little sticker on the front, but that's easily taken off. And a nice controller. The joystick was good, no wear or tear on it, which you always want to check your controllers, especially for something like this. Because you got to keep in mind, this GameCube could be completely defective, so I'm putting the money that I'm willing to spend into this and the fact that I can get this money back. So the GameCube controller alone is going to be about $20, and it's got the power pack alone, so that right there is going to be about what I paid into this, minus the fees and all that. I asked her if she had any games in there. I told her that GameCube games look like a PS2 game, with the case, because she said that they had some PS2 games, but they never brought any out. But she does bring out Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, which was a good little bonus with it. And I really can't stress this enough to a lot of people, if you're new to, hunting for video games or whatever it may be. Questioning the actual sellers is the most important thing you can do. I don't simply just say, do you happen to have any games and consoles? I say that in just for the video, but, if I was up here like I did now, I say, do you happen to have any, games, consoles, things like Nintendo, Sega, Game Boys, I list a whole page of things, and they can sit there and shake their head and say, no, we don't have anything, and I'm still listing things. I'm breaking it down, N64, GameCube, and whenever I said GameCube, that's when her eyes lit up. She was shaking her head beforehand, but whenever I said that right word, that's what got their attention. So even if they're shaking their head at you, keep asking, keep talking. You may look like an idiot, but you'll kind of get this routine, this script in your head of how you ask your question. My script kind of changes each time, but at the same time, it works out for the best, and it brought this GameCube out right here. What was really nice is this guy back here, he says, I know there's another game for it, and he says, there's got to be one in there. It's a loose game. And he went inside, and sure enough, he comes out with just the first disc for Resident Evil 4. If it had both discs still, that's a nice pickup, but, there's not much I can do with disc 1 of Resident Evil. I told him that, I said, hey, this is only disc 1, I can't complete the game. And the lady was really kind. She said, just take it, no worries, and I, of course, was very grateful for that. And I ended up picking up this GameCube, the two games, or a game and a half, controller and everything, for $25. So for the first yard sale, this was a definite great pickup. So this next pickup here at this yard sale, this was definitely a good one. This is one of those kind of like multi-sales. You get, 5 or 6 friends. They all bring some stuff. You can see all the different tables, all different categories. And what was really nice is when I pulled up, I just noted, look at all these TI-83 Plus calculators, and I believe there was a TI-89 titanium in there. just scattered all around. They had $10 stickers on all of them. At that price, that's, obviously still a great deal. And of course, as I go up, I ask him if he had any video games, and he brings over this nice big box of Xbox 360, and I believe there's a few PSP games in there as well. Be careful when hunting, I ain't going to say 360 is more modern. It's obviously more modern than a lot of the older stuff, but it's still at that time to where a lot of these games aren't really worth that much. So this would have been a great box if you needed something for the collection. Unfortunately, I had everything in here, but of course, I'm going to pick up the orange box. It still holds a decent value, and I only paid $2 for it. I probably should have looked a little bit more in this box, but the one thing that was on the back of my mind is like, man, I need to pick up all those calculators before someone else gets them. This sale just started, and we already had people pulling up. So I looked a little bit more, and then I was like, man, it's time to go back here and get these calculators. These calculators, if you don't know, they hold quite a good bit of value. They're very easy, quick flips, and you find them all the time at yard sales. I'll always be on the lookout for them. I like to include them because a lot of people, they just don't think of them. But like all electronics, check the battery compartments. As you can see, this one here suffered from corrosion pretty badly. And at $10, I'm definitely not going to risk that. There's a chance, of course, it could work, but I just didn't want to fool with it. At least not for $10, because you want to try to make sure, if you can, at these sales to test these things. I've encountered many of these calculators that have graphical glitches that are not the easiest things to repair. You got to open them up and do a few things to them. These right here, as I check the battery compartments on all of them, they all look great and they are good to go. I asked the person, I said, hey, do you happen to have any batteries I can test these units on? They take 4 AAA batteries, and he, was quick to go inside, grabbed 4 AAA batteries, and I actually checked all 3 of these calculators minus the one that had the corrosion, and they were all working great. So now it comes time to get that bundle deal, and obviously that's what you want to do at a yard sale. If you're getting multiple items, don't individually pick them up. I saw that game first. He just happened to say they were $2, but I have that here, and I'm going to try to get that package deal. $10 is still a decent price for these, but I'm hoping to get something better out of it. I asked him, I said, hey, if I get all these calculators, what kind of, crazy deal can you give me? Try to make them laugh, make them smile. And he says $25. I didn't even argue that. That's an excellent deal. I got all 4 of those calculators plus that one game. $25. You can't beat that. That's an excellent pickup at a yard sale. Be on the lookout for these things. You would be surprised how often you see these graphing calculators. So that 4th calculator, the one with the battery corrosion, I honestly have not tested it yet. I haven't cleaned it out. If you want a quick tip on how to deal with battery corrosion, obviously you can get a Q-tip and some 91% isopropyl alcohol and attempt to get most of it out that way, and you might get lucky. One of the best ways that I found, you got to be a little bit screwdriver friendly, and you may even have to heat your iron up. But if you actually remove the terminals themselves and soak them in some vinegar and salt, it usually breaks that. So this next pickup here is going to make a lot of you toy hunters out there very, very happy to see, I suppose. As a lot of my longtime viewers know, I am no expert when it comes to picking up toys. I never collected them. It's very rare that I pick one up for my personal collection. I don't have that many at all. But as I get further into my reselling career, I'm getting more actively involved in looking for these things. And as you can see, this yard sale is no exception. They're scattered all around. But when it comes to me personally picking up toys, whether I want something for my collection or it's going to be resale, you'll hear me, throw the term out there, scared money don't make money when it comes to, hunting for whatever it is. But when it comes to something like this, since obviously I don't know much about it, I'm going to be very cautious on my money. I don't want to put anything into it that I don't think I can get back. And that's what you should do with just about anything. If you're not that knowledgeable with a certain field, whether it's toys or video games, whether you like to collect movies or you want to get them, and start flipping, be very selective about it at first until you get a little bit more knowledge, get a little bit more skill based up on it. Never put in more than you're scared that you can't get back. That's the way I look at it here. So as you can see, we got all these toys on the ground, the Spawn figure, the big Venom, even the Ecto one, which was very cool, missing some pieces on the top. We were hashing out deals. She wanted to say, $5 for this, $10 for that. She eventually said $40 for everything. That still felt a little bit high to me. I attempted $30, but she didn't want to haggle. She was very nice. She was a sweet lady. So for the first pickup at this yard sale, you see all those figures, the Venom, Spawn, the Ecto, the wrestling figures in the back, and then the other sealed packages back. And of course, I do got to mention, if you're new to this channel, if you're new to this series, at the end of the video, there is a very quick rundown. You know, throw some retro music on in the background, and I kind of show you everything in just a little bit more detail. You kind of see everything spread out. So if there's something that you see here that you don't really get to see that well, just stick around all the way to the end, and you'll see everything spread out with a nice little overview from the camera. So as we're packaging all this stuff up in a literal trash bag, I ask her the question, you know, if she happens to have any video games, you know, the whole list, the rundown. You know, I'm trying to explain to her the best that I can. And that's when I learned that all this stuff right here is her son's stuff. You know, he moved out quite a while, quite some time back, and she's, unloading a lot of it. And she says, oh yeah, he's got a ton of stuff, and she just doesn't know where to look, where to go get it. And of course, I'm going to leave my number and hope for the best that she actually calls back. But it makes you wonder what type of stuff is actually in that house, what kind of treasures are buried in there. So after loading everything up, I come back because I see this blue bin right here, and this is the bin that I'm actually most excited for. When I opened up this bag, I saw all the Star Wars figures, and looking at all this is just all 90s toys. There were some 80s toys thrown in there, and it was just a huge lot. I mean, obviously her son was definitely in the toys growing up. Maybe he collected them. Who knows? As you can see, I mean, they're just everywhere. And I'm asking her, I pick up the bag. I say, how much for this bag? She says $15. I knew she wanted to pick up each individual bag and, say this price, this price. So I went ahead and broke down the question. I said, well, how much for this entire box? Not knowing what else is in this box, if it's even going to be worth it. And she looked at me and she said, well, you're an honest person. How much are you willing to pay for this? I get that question quite often, actually, and I always respond with the same response. I say, well, I resell things, I collect things, and a lot of this I'm going to resell. And what I could do for you, I could offer you everything in my wallet. I opened it up. I had $42 left in my wallet on this. This stuff, again, is a risk for me to pick up, but I knew at that price it was still definitely worth it. Turns out it was way worth it, obviously. Me not knowing much about toys. It was a great deal. She was happy about it. She liked the fact that, I showed her what I had in my wallet. I was willing to give her everything that I had left on me, and we laughed and joked, and I ended up getting a very awesome deal, and she ended up making some good money that day. So be honest with people. You'd be surprised on where it gets you. So after a quick stop at the ATM, we arrive here at the final sale, and this is another freestyle sale too. It's very nice. Walking up here, I see on top just another copy of the orange box. It was an orange box day. In great condition. They only wanted $1 for it. Unfortunately, there was nothing else, in this box. There are no other games that sparked my interest. I wish the Gears of War actually had the game and the extras inside of it. I would have definitely picked that up. But this right here, this is a prime example of why you always got to ask the question. I say that a lot in these videos, but a lot of y'all don't really realize that if you're scared to talk to these people, you're not going to get anything out of it. As I, pay this $1 for this game, I asked her if you happen to have any old video games, gave her the list, NES, Super Nintendo, and I saw that twinkle in her eye as she looked over at the other gentleman, and I knew that they had something, and they go inside and they bring out boxes. Nothing feels quite as good as someone bringing out a box of retro goodness, and that's the case here. As you can see, we got an NES bundle. She pulls out the zapper gun. She's going back and forth with the other man there, talking about, well, the system doesn't work, the gun doesn't work. They're talking about all this stuff. NES is a very easy fixes. They don't take long at all to do. And I knew the situation with that. I asked them if it cut on. They said, yeah, it blinks. It just doesn't read games. Obviously very simple fix. And she says, well, let me go inside and grab that Super Nintendo. So this is when I'm taking a look at this bundle right here, trying to get an idea of what I'm willing to pay for all this. But had I not asked this question, I wouldn't be seeing this here right now. Obviously, they didn't bring it out for their yard sale. They didn't think to sell it. The gentleman over there actually said that, he's like, I was just going to put it up all on eBay. And, I'm over here saying, well, I got money now, avoid your fees and shipping and see if we can't work a deal out. And looking through this games, there's some good stuff here, nothing crazy heavy hitting, but you do got some solid titles in here, DuckTales and Contra and whatnot. Definitely a nice NES bundle. It had all the cords and accessories. The power pack had some duct tape on it, but, I got power packs that I save up for situations like this. Now she brought out the Super Nintendo bundle, and I'm telling you, nothing feels as good as them bringing the games out to you. You go up to a yard sale and you see them sitting on the table, it's great, but when they bring them out to you, I'm telling you, a lot of you out there can agree with me, it's just an excellent feeling. Some good titles in this one too. There's a lot of sports. You got to understand, people played these games. It's not like, oh, you got a terrible collection. These were great games back in the day, and, a lot of these still are. You got Super Mario Kart, you got, Super Mario World, Lion King. There was definitely a handful of really awesome games in here. So as you can see here, the Super Nintendo has definitely seen better days, and it made quite a bit of noise when you turned it over. But there is a possibility I can fix it with, just about anything here. But we ended up settling on $50 for both of these boxes. This was an excellent deal. I was very happy and grateful that they brought this stuff out. Again, they wouldn't have done it had I not asked. So make sure you're out there and you're asking these questions, people. But as always, that's what I got for you this episode. I hope you enjoyed. Hit that thumbs up and share it. Let other people know. As always, everybody, take care and enjoy the rest of your day.